Hey guys, welcome back to my channel! If you're new here, my name is Madita, and today I thought I'd show you which books I'm planning to read this summer. And now, before you go, Madita, isn't summer already over? I live in Germany, duh! My summer only starts in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. And then I have 6 weeks of summer break, which is also super short. So for my short summer break, I have over 20 books planned out that I want to read. Some of these are summer books, and then some of these just give me #summer vibes. And they're also books that I would read during summer. So here are the books that I'm planning to read, and maybe you can find some recs here too, or some books that you could read during whatever time it is for you now, because I'm guessing your summer break's already over now, and mine's just starting, so there isn't really a good explanation for any of this. Yeah, so these are all the books I'm planning to read. Okay, so number 1 is Beach Read, and I know I'm so behind. Everybody has already read this book. I haven't, okay? I need to read this at the beach during summer break. So Beach Read is about January and Gus, and January writes romance novels, so things I love to read about. And then there's Gus. He writes like normal fiction, things I don't really read. Anyways, and he's also not a hopeless romantic, so we don't really know how to feel about that, but both of them have their writer's block right now and they don't know what to write. So they decide to do this challenge or bet where they both switch genres and see who first finishes writing a book in the opposite genre. So I do love myself a little bit of competition during a book and a little bit of tension, a little bit of who's better, who's faster, a little bit of a, you know, fighting, winning, loser situation. And everybody has told me this book is gonna be really good. Next is The Postcard. I've never seen this book anywhere, but I bought it in the bookstore. The cover was smiling at me, and I mean, look at this. This is vacation pure, okay? There's a train, a little, I'm gonna say taxi. It's called The Postcard. The heart in that like moving motion. 1 year, 2 plane tickets, 3 ways to lose your lover. This sounds like a vacation book to me. Okay, so this book is about Maya and James. Maya and James met 1 year ago and they had this fiery, steamy kiss at a wintry train station. I mean, that seems like something right straight up a romance novel, okay? That is something I want to have in my life, so please give it to me. Anyways, a year later, Maya and James decide to go on this giant trip, train tickets, plane, just travel through the world and see new places together. While traveling, Maya gets really scared. She's like, what if this is not the real James? What if James is faking everything? What if he's totally different and he has different goals in life? Turns out he has, because Maya wants to start a family. James, not really. And over the course of this vacation, obviously, they get to know each other, we see what happens, and yeah. And also, it's supposed to be heartwarming and a wonderful escapism. Next is The Bride Test, which is about Kai and Esme, and this is in the Kiss Quotient series, and I absolutely love the Kiss Quotient. If you haven't read it, you need to read it ASAP. Anyways, Kai is autistic and believes that because of that he's like a failure, like faulty, even though we all know it isn't true like that. Even his family knows. And when his mother keeps trying to couple him up, he's like, no, I don't want a relationship. So she flies back to Vietnam to find a bride for him. There we meet Esme, and she's like, oh, okay, this is an opportunity for me to leave Vietnam and maybe make it big in the US. So she goes over to the US with his mom, and there she tries to be flirty and make him fall in love with her. Probably some doughy eyes. We know what's going on. Flirting. Something I can't do and I should probably learn. Yet all she ends up doing is falling in love with Kai herself and not making Kai fall in love with her. So in this book we just find out if Kai is ready to open up to her and ready for love. Now, why did I pick this for a vacation read, you may ask? You see that plane up there? Travel. Yeah. Next is Sweet Hand, which is about Therese and Kieran. Basically, Therese just caught her boyfriend cheating on her. Fucking asshole, I know, he's a musician too. So she's right now in this no-go, no dating, I don't want anybody in my life phase where she just focuses on her work and baking. But her mother keeps trying to couple her up with every single guy on this planet. And she's like, no mom, like I don't want to date. Single girls forever, okay? So she's very mad. She's like, no, I don't want to date anybody. Like, leave me alone, mom. I like being single. It really starts getting fiery in this book when her sister says that she's getting married on this island. And obviously Therese is going to be there. She's the maid of honor. And who do you think the best man is? Dun dun dun. Kieran. And turns out Kieran has always had a crush on our Miss Therese here, but Therese thinks he's super annoying. Like, no, I don't want him. Like, ew, no. What happens there? Forced proximity, and ooh, something happens. There's a sizzling rainy night and they do something. I wonder what they did. And then afterwards they're just trying to figure out what they can do with what happened that night. Is this a relationship? Is this a one-time thing? I do love myself some forced proximity on an island, wedding, romance books. Next we have Every Summer After. I've seen this all over every book page out there, and I was like, let me read this. So this book is about personal Percy and Sam, and every year they go on to summer vacation together at Barry's Bay with their families, right? So they're friends. Dun dun dun. Turns out they're lovers too. Years of always seeing each other every summer turns into romance, love. But then one summer something happens. Percy messes up. She says it's the biggest mistake of her life, and boom, she never goes back to Barry's Bay for summer. They never see each other again, okay? 5 years later though, Sam's mom dies and she gets invited to the funeral, and right away the connection back, poof, just appears out of nowhere. This book is told in past and present, which is one of my favorite things on this planet. So we kind of find out what Percy did, what is the biggest mistake of her life, and we get to see the past moments, their relationship in the past, and hopefully something rekindles in the future again and they get back together. Next is One Perfect Summer by Paige Toon. I just really like her writing style, and this is about Alice and Joe. So Alice and Joe spent this summer before Alice goes to college together, and it's this fiery, steamy, romantic summer, right? True love. They think they're soulmates, yada yada yada. They plan out their entire future already, but then something happens and Alice's heart gets broken. So I'm guessing, Joe, you messed up. You did something really stupid, and she leaves and goes to Cambridge to study uni and move on with her life, and Joe just kind of disappears. We don't know where he is, okay? But at Cambridge, Alice meets Lucas, and he's handsome and rich, and she starts planning out a future with him. They get together and move on with their life together, okay? Years later, Joe is back in Alice's life, but it's kind of different. It says on the back here that Joe is back, but out of reach in a way that Alice could have never imagined. So I was like, what does that mean? This is scary. I want to know why he's out of reach when they meet each other again. What's going on? And I mean, this seems amazing. And also read this sentence here. I feel like I'm gonna cry though. 2 soulmates, 3 broken hearts. I feel like I'm gonna cry. And next we have the falling in love montage, and this is a summer romance, but also look at the Ferris wheel in the background. It screams summer break. Sareers, I hope I pronounced her name correctly, has this plan to have the hottest summer ever. She wants to just go party and make up with girls and have fun and forget about her ex-girlfriend as well as her mother's sickness. And on the summer break, she meets Ruby, who is this optimistic and also romance lover. She loves rom-coms. Guess who loves rom-coms? I love rom-coms. Ruby and Therese kind of are attracted to each other, but Therese doesn't want a relationship, so Ruby challenges her to a summer without any strings attached. Romance will obviously develop, and we'll see where this takes us. I hope nothing happens to the mother. That scares me, especially because it's mentioned on the back. Next we have While We Were Dating. This isn't a summer read. This has nothing to do with summer. I solely picked this up because of the palm trees, but I know this is in LA, so this isn't really like a good excuse, but we're not gonna talk about it. But this book is about Ben and Anna, and both of them are actors or aspiring actors, and they are in the Hollywood, branch area business. You know what I mean? And both of them land a job together on this ad. But Ben is a guy who's not into serious relationship, okay? Let's keep it casual, keep it on the low. And then Anna and him, those start to develop something. They mix business and pleasure. Dramatic. Anyways, so then at some point, Ben has to help Anna's family with something really important. We don't know what it is though. But then for some reason, this opportunity arrives where their relationship can be used for Anna's publicity. We're obviously gonna find out how Ben and Anna deal with that aspect of their life, and I hope they fall in love. Next we have the roughest draft, and I mean, this just screams summer. Pool, sunglasses, 2 people in the pool, and some green palm tree. What about this doesn't seem like summer to you? This book is about Katrina and Nathan, and both Katrina and Nathan used to write together. They were co-writers, but something that happened 3 years ago and they were no connection anymore, no working together. They said, no, I don't like you anymore, I don't like you anymore, and we obviously don't know why. We're gonna find out in this book. But a few years later, they have to work together again. #forced proximity, cough, cough, cough. I would love to see where this goes, especially because they're gonna write a romantic novel, and I do love romance, so this seems really interesting. Next, we have Simmer Down, and this book is with cooking, and I do love that. This is about Nikki and Callum. Nikki quit her dream job to work with her mother at this food truck on Maui at the beach to serve like the best Filipino food ever. But for some reason, Callum, this British food truck owner, shows up right next to Nikki's spot, and she's like, this is rude as hell, why you're stealing all my customers? My food is better than yours. But then this British dude shows up and takes all my shine away, like everything. So they both decide to make a bet, and the bet is to see who wins the Maui Food Festival, and whoever wins will keep the spot while the loser has to move away. And I'm excited to see where this goes, especially because it's mentioned on the back that Callum is this sweet, protective guy. Protective? Does something happen and he protects her? Next up, Along for the Ride. Why did I pick this? Well, along for the ride, traveling probably somewhere with the car. Seems like summer to me. Jolene is trying to help her sister move across the country. So she's going with her across the country with the car. But then for some reason, Jason decides to join too, who is her sister's fiance's best friend, but they both hate each other, okay? They have this giant fight at her sister's wedding and they can't stand each other, but they're forced to be together, so chemistry develops, obviously. It's also a quite short read, so I think this will be great for me when I have to go somewhere like on the go, maybe on a car ride. Haha, see what I just did there? Next is for vacation only, and I mean the cover already tells you why I'm picking to read this book during summer vacation. Blake just got jilted at the altar and then still decides to go on his honeymoon vacation on this cruise ship for 14 days because he says, fuck you, my ex-fiance. I'm doing this by myself anyways. And on that cruise ship, he meets Jubilee, who is one of the singers. He right away feels a connection to her voice, to everything about her. And even though in the beginning, she's only kind of his tour guide on the ship, chemistry starts developing and a fling starts developing on the boat, and we're gonna love it. But then the final destination is approaching and they don't know what to do. We get a bit of a drama llama situation. Like, are we gonna stay together after these 14 days? Is this just a summer fling? We don't know. And I hope to find out at the end of this book. Next, I want to read The Henna Wars. I absolutely loved Honey Issue's Guide to Fake Dating. It's one of my favorite sapphic and fake dating books. The Henna Wars about Nishat and Flavia. Nishat's parents don't want her to be a lesbian, and it kind of causes a lot of issues with her because she doesn't want to lose her family, but she also doesn't want to hide who she is. During that time, she meets Flavia, and she honestly right away just feels like Flavia is the girl. She feels a connection right away. But then something happens, we don't know what, and suddenly they're rivals. So I'm trying to find out what it is, like what happened? Why are you enemies again? I do love rivals to lovers, so I really want to see what that rivalry entails and what's happening here. Next, we have The Summer of Lost Letters. You might know this book from my Greece vlog because my flowers are still in there. This is for my flower pressing. This book's about Abby, who finds a box of old letters of her grandma to some mysterious man named Edward. And those are obviously love letters. So she goes onto this journey to find Edward and to investigate what's actually behind these letters. On this journey, she meets Noah, who is Edward's grandson, and he's trying to stop her for some reason from finding out what's behind those letters, which is literally so rude, like why? So Abby and Noah are kind of put together, and we found out a lot of mysteries, a lot of investigation of the past, of family drama. Next, I think it's a pretty obvious summer read, and I'm just behind, is Malibu Rising. This book is about the Riva family and a giant party, and at the end of this party, the house ends up being in flames. I have no idea why. I just know that Nina is this famous surfer who doesn't want this party to happen. Hud wants to confess something to his brother. Jay is waiting for that one girl that promised to show up. And then there's Kit, who has a few secrets as well, and she invited those guests that weren't supposed to be there. So Kit, who did you invite? Next is Well Played, which is in the series of Well Met, which is such a good enemies to lovers workplace romance at a festival, and this is in the exact same world, and I absolutely loved the festival, so I'm really excited to read this book. This book is about Stacy and could possibly be about Dex, could be about somebody else, because there's a secret in the end, and I'm so excited to tell you about it. So this book is about Stacy, who lives in Willow Creek because she has to take care of her mother. Her mother's really sick. So someday, Stacy receives these mysterious emails from Dex. Dex was her fair summertime fling, who's a very stoic guy. She never really felt an emotional connection to him, and she's really confused when Dex starts writing her these romantic emails. She's like, oh my god, like I'm falling in love with him. But when she returns to Willow Creek, it turns out to be a completely different guy. Do I know who? No. Who is this man she barely knows? That's a real question here. All I know is that he's Jinja. Next is really random, but this is the fairy tale retelling series from Olivia Blake. It's 3 books, 3 volumes, and I honestly just love fairy tale retelling, so I'm really excited to see which fairy tales were picked in this series. Next is Sunkissed, which is by Casey West, who is one of my like YA stan authors who I read all through high school. So this is Sunkissed, and this is about Avery, who just got betrayed by her best friend. I really want to know what that is. So her and her sister get sent to the summer camp for 2 months by her parents, and she really doesn't want to be there. Lucky for her, she meets Brooks, who works at the summer camp, so he's off limits, but he's mysterious and brooding and very quiet, and she is kind of interested in finding out who he is, but she also wants to find herself, and Brooks offers to help her find herself again. This seems like a great summer read, and I mean the cover just screams summer to me. So next we have The Paid Bridesmaid. I feel like this already explains a lot about this book. Basically, this book is about Rachel. She goes onto weddings that she's paid for to be a bridesmaid. The best man, whose name is Camden, is this really rich business guy, and he for some reason thinks he's super important. He thinks that Rachel is there to spy on his company, and so he keeps a very close eye on her to see if she is doing some Kim Possible things on this island. Obviously she isn't, as we all know, but that kind of spying, paying attention to each other, turns into tension, connection. Oh my god, she's kind of cute. Maybe I do like her. Next, I decided to pick The Road Trip. I read The Fletcher and The Switch, and I like both of those books. I'm really excited about this one, and this book is about Addie and Dylan. So Addie and her sister are about to go to this wedding they were invited to, but on their way there, a car crashes into theirs. Rude, right? Like, who does that? And turns out that car was driven by Dylan, who is Addie's ex-boyfriend. The drama. So they have to drive there all together because they're also going to the wedding, and so 4 people are stuck in a car together. Tension, car accident, probably some stops in between, and last but not least is what I thought was true, which is about Gwen and Cassidy. This book is an opposite sides attract, rich poor type of romance book. So basically Gwen hates summer on her island because she usually has to work, and all these rich people come to vacation there, and this summer Gwen takes a job as the local yard boy at Cassidy's house, who is this rich guy, right? And they're totally different. They could never fit together, or so you thought. And then over the course of the summer, they start a connection, they get to know each other, feelings, truths, secrets are revealed, and something sparks between them, but then there's a lot of family drama going on at the same time. Again, haven't read this in a long time, so I hope I like this again like I did the last time. We're at the end. Those are all the books that I'm planning to read this summer, and I'm very excited for all these books. If you have read any of them, please tell me if you like them or if you didn't like them. So yeah, thank you for watching this video of my first TBR ever. I've never done this before, so I hope this is interesting to you. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my content, you can subscribe. I hope you have a great day, evening, time, morning, whatever time zone you're in. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Read a book. Read any of these I just suggested. You know what? Don't read a book. Add a book to your summer TBR. Yeah, again, thank you for watching this video. Have a great day. Happy reading, and see you next time.